Hi everyone, it's Fiona here from fionamarks.com, and I'm back talking to you about things in the press. Summer holidays, I've been talking about TV shows actually, so maybe I haven't been reading the press as much. And a few weeks ago, I made a video about 9 Perfect Strangers that I'm enjoying the astrology of. And I have another update for you, also with no spoilers, just talking about the dynamics of the show. So for those who are watching or haven't watched, it's a TV show about people going to a retreat center, at complete crisis in their life. And last video, we talked about how the person who hosts the retreat was a great example of Rahu, because she was kind of risk-taking and scary and had extremely unusual ideas, and that as a participant on the retreat, the participants don't really know whether to trust this person or not, even though they've signed up for the experience. And I just thought that was such a great example of the birth chart, that we all have Rahu somewhere in our birth chart, and we have all signed up on some level to be here. But there are times when we just see the craziness of Rahu. We're like, it's dangerous. So that was a great example. So the character continues to demonstrate all of those good Rahu things. But what I noticed, I think I'm a bit behind you guys. So I think we had episode 7, The Wheels on the Bus. It is the last one I saw last week. And I thought the character playing, Nicole Kidman's character, the character playing this convener of the retreat space, demonstrated great Drik bala, what Drik bala really is and what it feels like. So for those who haven't seen the show, again, not telling you anything about what's happened or hasn't happened or what's happening next, is that in this episode, the Nicole Kidman character wants to achieve something. And in that time frame that she wants to achieve this, it's something that she's been planning and putting together. We're only, as the viewers, beginning to realize how much she's been putting this together. She set these wheels in motion, and obstacle after obstacle comes up as she tries to implement this action. And to me, that is what Drik bala feels like. So let's refresh our memories about Drik bala, and I just got a sample chart for us, which I think I actually have to share with you separately. I think I can't switch from one to the other. Here you go. And so I just flicked around, hitting a few. I obviously looked at Nicole Kidman's, and she didn't have much Drik bala, and I ticked off a couple of other actresses. And here I have Jane Fonda, and I'm bringing your attention to this line here in the Shad bala table, called Drik bala or Drig bala. I think more people call it Drig bala, but it sounds like Dig bala to me. I'm so simple, I'll get confused. So I call it Drik, just to keep it clear in my mind. And what this bala, which is a strength, so you remember these are the 6 strengths of a planet. Drik bala is one of those strengths. It is an aspectual strength, and it is about getting support from benefic aspects or getting interference from malefic aspects. And it's a little more complicated than just doing the aspects away from each other. So I've put it up here is the aspects and planets and the points that they give each other, but it's not as simple as that, because you can see, for example, here that the sun is receiving no benefic aspects, and it's receiving 82 points of malefic, but actually in terms of Drik, it's got -20, and that is because Drik bala is calculated at 100% for the 180-degree aspects, and then at various percentages, so like 75, 50, 25, depending on whether you're at 90 degree a square or whether you're at a trine or a sextile. So you can't just jump from your aspects planet Rashi table to the Drik bala. It's all programmed in there a little bit behind the scenes. So sorry that I can't show you that, but we can see the results of Drik right here. And basically what it's saying is that when the person wants to take action in the direction, for example, of the sun, that is in the direction of their soul, or in leadership, or in government, or with authority figures, or with their father, or with what the sun represents in there, depending on what their chart is doing. And all of that kind of consistency and steadfast, pure light of the sun, anything in that direction, confidence, then not only is it just normal, difficult, of life, it's actively interfered with. Like other planets actively engage in making it difficult for the sun, for example, in this case. And you can see across the board here that Jane Fonda, according to this birth time, has several of these negative Drik balas. And why I thought it was such a great example was that in this episode, let's go back to the wonderful cast, the convener, Nicole Kidman's character, sets this thing in motion, and then she has to deal with one emergency after another, all of which are taking her away from what she wants to achieve. And I think that this is really important, and this is how Drik bala works, in my opinion, that the obstacles that it puts in your way when you want to achieve something that has a negative Drik bala they're very valid crisis emergency situations that you just have to deal with. They're non-negotiable things. You really have to go away from the path that you want to be on and deal with some unexpected crisis. And of course, in the show, she has, one after the other after the other. So I'm not going to say anything to you because I don't want to, in case you haven't seen it yet, say anything. Not that it's the crucial plot of the story, but I feel bound to not share anything. We're talking about episode 7, if you want to go back and watch it. And I love this example because when one is working with people, and especially as a life coach, before as an astrologer, one can have the idea that if it's something that I'm supposed to do, then I'll be in the flow. We can have this sort of, I don't know whether they're like truisms or platitudes that we say, that if you're truly following your dharma or your bliss or your calling, then the waters will part and the path becomes easy. And that is probably what it feels like when you've got positive Drik bala. But when you've got negative Drik bala, it's going to be the opposite. That not only is it difficult, average difficult, it's important crises coming left, right, from unexpected areas that have nothing to do with what it is that you're trying to achieve. And there's 2 important things that I think we need to highlight, in my opinion, about Drik bala, which is, number 1, in my opinion, this is not a sign that you are not following your dharma, or you're not following your bliss, or you're not doing the right thing. So I would take that platitude and just, if you have negative Drik bala in your chart, just let it go, because no matter what you do in that area, planetarily, these interferences are going to come up. So one needs to become detached from the concept that if I'm following my bliss, it will be easy. I'll be in the flow. Because if you have negative Drik bala, you can be following your bliss, and there can be unexpected crises and situations that are distracting and that need your full attention and take you away from what you're supposed to be doing or what you want to be doing. And let us not interpret that as a sign of some universal message that you're not on your right path. Because if you have negative Drik bala, you are on your right path and you're still getting interference. They go together. They're the same. You can't separate what's in your chart. So number 1 is let's let go of that platitude. The second thing that I would say is that one of the ways that I work with negative Drik bala is making sure that in those areas where I have negative Drik bala, how can I align what I'm doing, what I am called to achieve, how can I align that with the best and highest good of others around me? How can I do this in service to my organization, my family, my partner, my teammates, whatever it is? You'll know the situation because of whatever it is in your chart. Because in my opinion, Drik, it really comes after you, the Fiona in the chart, or the native in the chart. And so if you can do this achievement for a bigger and higher purpose, automatically you're removing that energy from the chart. And this is exactly what's happening in the 9 perfect strangers, that here is this convener that ideally we would think that her role is to help others. And they've paid her to do that. So that's what she's employed to do. It's pretty clear contract. But it turns out that there is a personal mission that she's trying to achieve. And it's when that personal mission comes in that we begin to see the Drik bala going off in the show. So I think the show is a great demonstration of working for the self or working for the best and highest good of others, and how that can change the course of the Drik bala. So I'm very interested. If you have negative Drik bala, tell me what you think, what your strategies are for dealing with it. But in this show, I really laugh at how, as soon as the convener tries to achieve her personal goals, these obstacles all come. Great. So I love your feedback on that. Now, just like I did with the last time I talked about 9 perfect strangers, I'm going to really quickly update about the other character I spoke about. So in the show, there is a father who we were talking about last time, is a great example of Jupiter, because he's able to contextualize and philosophize about a great tragedy. And he can be quite verbose and a little dry and a little detached maybe, but he has all of that context, which is what Jupiter gives us, the big picture and the way that our small suffering might fit into a bigger story. So excellent qualities of Jupiter. Last time we spoke, I talked about how beautiful it was to see his character attach that vision or that panorama to emotions, and the character makes a speech at a dinner, and suddenly the emotion comes through all of this philosophy, and that is Jupiter exalted in Cancer, because it can connect with people. The moon is the masses. Cancer gives us the emotions. When Jupiter can partner with the masses through the emotions, then that wisdom really becomes inspiring, and it lifts everyone who's listening, and it moves them forward. It's such a powerful thing to have Jupiter in Cancer. And now beautifully in episode 6 and 7, maybe it's 5, 6, 7, there becomes the opportunity for this character to show Jupiter debilitated in Cancer. And this is when this character receives a new fact or something that he believes to be a fact, that changes his perspective and suddenly shrinks all of that panoramic vision of Jupiter down onto this fact. And he says some things about I just know I won't be able to forgive. And forgiveness is a quality of Jupiter, a beautiful compassion and forgiveness energy of Jupiter. And so when debilitated in Capricorn, Jupiter becomes really focused on the detail, because we know that Capricorn's a Saturn sign. It brings that looking down energy of Saturn. It's tamasic. Saturn's got that tamasic energy focused on the dirt, on the earth. It's an earth sign. And instead of having this uplifting, panoramic, expansive vision, Jupiter gets compressed onto the real rubber hits the road truth. And it's just so well demonstrated by this character's arc through the story. Jupiter speaking in a very philosophical way, but that can be maybe off-putting for others or hard to access the application of that kind of vision. That's the first run of the arc of this character. Then we have this Cancer moment where it connects with the emotions, uplifting, inspiring, moves people on. And then we have the opposite, the debilitation. One fact, one detail that's very real, very hard, and just knowing I got no compassion, I got no forgiveness, I won't be able to move on. So really enjoying the 9 Perfect Strangers as an explanation or a demonstration of some wonderful aspects of astrology. I hope that you are enjoying it too. Let's go back to the main screen. Great to catch up with you, and I look forward to talking to you next time that we get together to talk about what's going on in the press or media, or maybe even just on TV. Okay, until then, bye.